Home, the musical.
I don't have a joke because it's so beautiful.
Welcome to our house on Maple Avenue. See how we polish and we shine.
It's so good.
Especially having seen the workshop last year and seeing where it was and where it is now. I felt like it was just so smooth and like the flow in the time shifts, the actors portraying Allison's, like it was seamless. Like I feel, and I think a lot of the reviews have talked about this, where you're like, when you hear like, there's 3 actresses playing the same character in different times, and you're like, that sounds like a terrible idea.
Yeah.
But it's like so brilliant and works. It just works. It works so well.
It works, and what works about it also is that it's not chronological. It's
the
really
music's
great.
so beautiful.
The music is so beautiful, and it like there's so many great different styles of music in this show. There's very classic sounding musical theater songs, but very also contemporary sounding musical theater songs and stylistic songs because like Little Allison, it's the 70s when she's growing up, so there's some like disco numbers. There's like a jingle. It's just so great.
Yeah.
Janine Tesori.
What the f***? Just incredible.
Should we talk about?
The most beautiful, heartbreaking, heart-wrenching song that has ever been performed in musical theater.
Performed by an amazing actress who happens to be a child with such depth and emotion and truth.
I have never seen a child actor give as layered and like thought out and like beautiful performance as it. Like we've seen a lot of like great child actors. She's like on a different level. Like she's like a child acting at an adult cognition.
She's an actress. She just is 11 or whatever. I think part of it is what she's been given to work with. Especially in theater and musical theater, especially, you know, it's like Saccharine, Orphan Annie, it's the bit part, it's Oliver, it's all very sweet. And the depth that she needs and the places she needs to go, it's a lot to ask.
I don't think I have ever like connected so fully to a moment in musical theater where I was like I know exactly that moment, that feeling. Like I had that moment, and like it's like so that song so perfectly captures like her uncomfortable and like wanting to connect but not knowing why and not knowing what it is that she's connecting with and being so confused, like, oh my god, I get it, girl. Like, it's such a beautiful moment, and I think my favorite line in that song is when she says like, why can't everyone see that you're beautiful? No, handsome. Because it's like so specific, and it's so specific to like lesbians, and like it goes like, it's such a simple line, but it goes so deep into all of that, like, well, if you're gonna date a butch girl, why don't you just date a guy? Like it's such a loaded line that has so much like gay history seeped in it. And I love it so much, and it's the most beautiful thing that's ever happened in musicals. I say that a lot, but I mean it right now. And every other time I've said it.
Well, sure.
I mean it every time I say it again.
Yeah.
Not only is that song like so perfectly structured and written, but like the way she performs it is like, I have no words for how like skilled a performer and actress Sydney Lucas is. She's especially in that moment.
Going to take over Broadway.
Yes. But you know what's crazy?
What?
Besides Fun Home, I don't think there are parts written good enough for her age right now.
Well, no, I think that's definitely true.
Like, your first thought is like, revive the Secret Garden. She's so much better than the Secret Garden.
She would be amazing in it, but
She'd be great, but like, she's so much better than that. Yeah. Like, she needs more. She needs more to work with. Alexandra Socha, medium Allison.
Medium Allison. She's fantastic.
She's the most awkward, amazing person ever. I have never laughed so much at awkwardness, I think.
It's pretty spot on.
It's so perfect.
Oh,
like
yeah.
when her and Joan first kiss and she's like, I can't do more. Like, she's so weird.
When she is just continually her like, I said words and I wish I could take them back. Like that's a very specific sense of like embarrassment that I think she gets just
Oh my
right.
god, it's brilliant.
Ugh,
and
so
I
good.
love another thing that's just so brilliant about like the structure of the show itself is because I'm obsessed with how like the awkwardness and the hilariousness of that scene when her and Joan are like kissing, and then having Beth Malone as like adult Allison in the background being like, oh, it's so awkward.
Yeah, yeah.
Like commenting on it, but not like again, like not in that weird way of like adult Allison commenting on a scene of young Allison. Like it's not weird.
And it's not done in the way that it seems like she's looking at it.
Right.
Which I think is where it could have gone weird. Like, she's not like, oh, I'm watching myself. She's remembering it in her head. And then, you know, sometimes you're like, oh, God, I can't believe I said that.
Yeah.
Like, you just are remembering something that happened. And like, oh, God, how is that person even still friends with me? When we met that first time, I was, like, such a fucking crazy person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. Roberta Colindrez.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Her like swagger, stance, body language was perfect. Hilarious.
Her hair was pretty great.
Her hair was amazing.
Should we talk about Beth Malone?
Beth
Allison?
Malone. First of all, haircut committed.
Yes.
Well done.
Fantastic.
She's so like she just grounds it.
Yeah.
So well.
Absolutely.
And it's not, like, again, it's not weird. It's not put on. Having her sort of, like, circling and commenting here and there. And then, not spoiler alert, but at the end, when she sort of steps in to one of the memories.
Yeah. Yes. It's beautiful.
Because that scene that she steps into is, like, the scene that her as her current self sort of has to rectify more than anything else.
Yeah.
Like, it made so much sense.
Yeah.
That although age-wise medium Allison would be in that scene, like, it makes so much sense, and it's so heartbreaking and beautiful to have her in that scene.
Yeah.
Playing her current self, past self. And the melody of that song is like always inside my brain. Telephone wire. Oh, I loved it. It's so pretty. Cast recording!
Yes, please.
Now!
Cast recording.
ASAP.
It's beautiful.
We haven't even talked about Judy Kuhn yet.
Well, I know. Judy Kuhn.
Listen. Obviously, everybody loves Judy Kuhn.
Everybody.
Oh, she's amazing. She's just so talented. Like, she's a great actress, and she's an amazing singer, and sort of like... Especially last time when we saw the workshop, I think we were all sort of like, more Judy Kuhn.
More Judy Kuhn. Yes.
And I don't necessarily, I mean, I can't make an exact comparison, but I don't necessarily think she has like any more to do in the full production than she did in the workshop. But I think, I don't know, I think I was so much more impacted by her performance in the full production. For whatever reason, it was fleshed out a little bit. She had little moments or something.
No, I know what you mean. Again, this was like a year ago, so obviously I was like more Judy Kuhn, because why wouldn't you be? But you're right. I didn't feel like, before I felt, oh, she's Judy Kuhn. She was a little underused. Even though it's not her story, it's Allison's, so I wasn't mad at it, except for that it was Judy Kuhn. But this time, I felt like she was there. Yeah. Like, she was just there, in it, always. And
then, like, her big song is just, like... I think really what that song does is sort of, like... I think you sort of feel bad for her mother. you are sort of like forgetful of her. It's not her story. She's sort of there, and you're sort of like a passing thought of like, oh God, how sad for that woman. Jeez. And then when she has that song towards the end of the show, it just sort of like brings everything that she's experienced and all of the things she's done and the ways she's reacted to Allison's behavior.
Absolutely.
It brings it all into perspective.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys know this, but Allison wrote a second book that's all about her mom, so obviously that should be another musical starring Judy Kuhn. So
obviously.
That needs to happen.
Yes.
Are You My Mother? The musical. Thank you.
There's a children's book.
Same
called
creative
Are You
team.
My Mother. Michael Cerveris. He was
Great wig.
fantastic. Oh my God, that wig.
Ah!
Anytime you put a wig on a bald person, it has to be a really great wig.
Yeah.
Because we are so used to seeing that person with no hair, it's going to be very distracting.
Well, the thing that I thought was so great about this wig is that one of my friends who saw the show was like, I hate his wig. It was so ugly. And I was like, I think that wig is brilliant because personal fashion like choices, you'd be like, ew, gross haircut. But for that character in that time period, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's perfect. It's exactly the haircut that guy would have. And it looks great. Because if I didn't know that Michael Cerveris was a baldy, I wouldn't know.
It moved very well.
It moved very well. Great
Michael
work.
Cerveris.
He was fantastic.
He was
enjoyed him very much.
so good.
Like, I think there's that character so complex, you know, and you have to hit so many points because you have to hit the point of like having those moments where the family is scared of him. He's not physically abusive, but he's scary, and he has to scare them and be that, but then also like breaks your heart. And like that moment, the scene where the stage is split and he's in the den with the boy, like the handyman or whatever, and little Allison and her brothers are watching TV, and Judy Kuhn is practicing piano, and he's like asking this guy to take off his shirt, and it's sort of like that scene is so beautifully constructed because it's like, at least for me, I didn't like find him despicable for doing that in his own home in the middle of the day with the kids in the next room. You weren't like, what a monster. You were like, God, that man has so much pain in him. At least that's how I reacted to it.
Well, I think to that.
Not that it excuses the behavior, but that it makes you more be like, oh my God, I like feel so sorry for that character and wish that his life circumstances were different instead of like blaming him for making bad choices. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I think it does a really good job. Obviously, it's based on Alison Bechdel's memoir, so she was working through all of this. She didn't sugarcoat her dad's choices, and the show doesn't either. But she also now is aware of why he made those choices, or why he felt he needed to make those choices.
We rearrange and reorganize.
Everything is balanced and serene. Like chaos never happened if it's never seen.
Everything about this show was perfect.
It was really good.
It was real good.